What's up, family? How y'all doing? I am live. I am live. I am live. Before we get started, you know I have some housekeeping. So to my family, I'm going to need you guys to do some very generous things for me. First and foremost, if you are on Facebook, I need you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel or follow the channel. I need you to go ahead and share the video. We're going to have a conversation. It's going to be a healthy conversation, but it's going to be a conversation nonetheless. If you are on YouTube, family, I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the like button, share the channel, let people know that we are on. You know, my channel has been hit by YouTube, so it doesn't circulate as much as it used to circulate to people because of my channel having a strike. So the only way I can get this poppin', family, is with you all. To all my ladies who are Iris, thank you for showing up every Saturday. To all my other ladies, go ahead and visit theiriswoman.com, where you can find different relationship classes to help you get your relationship in order, get your dating life in order, start making better decisions, because how we are going to combat all this nonsense that we are seeing that is having a negative impact on our family is by getting our family units together and getting our relationships together. So go ahead and visit theiriswoman.com so that you can sign up for classes, so that you can learn to be a little different, think a little different, do a little better in your relationships, because y'all better get ready for what is coming down the pike. Y'all better get ready. A lot of you ladies get a little bit too excited for me. A lot of you fellas don't do enough for me, but that's okay. I'm just going to let you ladies know, and you fellas know, we're going to have an honest conversation today. It ain't going to be a whole bunch of research associated with today's conversation, because I ain't got a bunch of research for y'all today. All right. Shout out to Earl. How you doing, Earl? Earl, you need to give me a call. I've been thinking about you, making sure that you are safe, making sure your family is good, the wife, the kids. So make sure you give me a call. You've been on my heart heavy, and I can't remember which number is your number, so I don't want to call the wrong person, because I don't save names in my phone. I'm just that kind of person. So go ahead and give me a call. Listen, I want y'all to know something. I was coming on here to talk about what happened to my daughter. Oh, Lord, if y'all only knew my life over the last few days. I was coming on here to talk about what happened to my daughter, who is an adult, and she gets to do whatever she wants to do. She lives on her own. She's an adult. We've been having a lot of conversations about COVID, about the vaccination, a lot of conversations. But at the end of the day, I let her make her own decisions, because she's in the medical field, and you know, she draws her own conclusions over certain things. And for a long time, I was able to reach my daughter and keep her from doing something she was going to regret. But y'all know I can't say that out loud, because my channel is under review. So I was trying to help her do something, or not to do something that she was going to regret. Needless to say, eventually, after a year and a half of having this conversation, she made her decision. Okay, cool, no problem. So I was coming on here to give you guys the update, because she had an adverse reaction. My daughter is now exempt from getting a second one of those things, or a booster. She is legitimately exempt. The doctors are like, no. I got calls. I was in the emergency room. I had to speak to the doctors. Had everything going on. This is not a game, y'all. This is not a game. So you haven't really heard from me, because after that experience, she suffered from some PTSD from her experience. She was afraid of being by herself. So she stayed with me at my house. And of course, I didn't want to go live and be all loud and not pay attention. So, you know, my daughter's a Leo. So, you know, you little Leos like a lot of attention. So I have to give my baby girl some attention. But I am going to tell you guys that story. I'm just not going to have that conversation tonight. It is a serious story. I think you guys should know I'm not making this up. By all means, I'm not making this up. If she's ever gets comfortable enough to come talk to you all, I will let her talk to you all. But y'all know me, I don't have no need to lie. Everybody who knows me personally in my life knows that was a dramatic experience for us. I canceled all my clients, they've been very supportive, because I never cancel like an hour before my sessions. I just, boom, canceled my whole calendar and I was gone. So it went well. Just so you can know the experience she had, she experienced anaphylaxis, is when your throat closes up. And so they had to give her a number of cocktails to open up her throat to keep her from losing air. She had an allergic reaction. So we already reported it to the CDC. We have the discharge papers. She went to her follow-up doctor. Her follow-up doctor has now exempt her from having any more shots because that was considered one of those deadly reactions. And even though it wasn't deadly for her, it's one of those reactions that the CDC says if you have this kind of reaction, you are exempt. So she is now exempt. And I didn't say to her, Mama told you so. I didn't say that to her. I mean, I know my family line. I know my genetics. I know our health. I've done a genetics test, right? I know how our system operates. I know how our hearts are. I know these things. So I tell you guys these things because I'm not one of those ill-informed or misinformed people, despite what the censor Nazis say about me. I'm not. So that's that story. But let's get on to this nomination. Let me talk about this right now. So I wasn't going to talk about this nomination, but all of you beautiful people who have access to me, I know y'all just love your access, but the people who have access to me have been texting me, emailing me, calling me, and so I was like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I just, minding my business. Ain't nothing going to change. You already know how our community is. You already know our community gets excited about some silly stuff. Our community is ridiculous sometimes, and not all the times. I'm not talking about everybody. Y'all know who I'm talking about because some of y'all got family members that fit the description of the people I'm talking about. But nonetheless, I was like, I don't want to talk about this. And then they was like, oh, okay, I just wanted to know what you was going to say about it. So I'm here, and I'm going to say something about this. Now, I want to give my disclaimers. Now, sisters, to my melanated sisters, I'm going to need y'all to calm down for tonight, right? So I'm going to need y'all to be on your best behaviors. I know some of y'all, you feel kind of offended. You feel some kind of way. Some of y'all sisters, not all of y'all. The minute we start analyzing and the minute we start saying things that you feel is going against the grain of the black girl magic power, apparently that's out there that I don't know about. But some people got the black girl magic. I don't know what that means anymore. I don't know what that means. But I know when y'all see a sister get into one of these positions like, your VP, Kamala Harris, right? Y'all got so excited. I don't see y'all excitement as much anymore. I don't see y'all wearing your pearls and your Converse Chucks. Like, I don't see y'all getting excited anymore. But, I know some of you guys are like, see, here it goes. You guys are already on it. See? Y'all already on it. I can't make this stuff up. Can we please have a short 10-minute prayer session once a week, non-denominational, of course, just to help bring the oneness of God in all of us to combat everything going on in the world? We can be the change we all need, the 100 monkey experience, especially since black women have the Eve gene. What are you talking about? Now, I'm not trying to be funny. Don't get in your feelings. What exactly are you talking about? Because we got to stop all of this vague conversation. Y'all be having too much vague conversation. That vague talk don't help us in what we're going after. Our vague talk does not help us in our fight. And as women, we got to get better with this. We got to be a little bit more analytical, a little bit more logical, rational, and critical in our thought process. I am going to say that. I'm going to make that very clear. We doing too much kumbaya. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be funny, so don't get in your feelings. Y'all just got to hear me out tonight. Tonight is raw. Look at my sisters in the house. My sister is in the house. Tonight is raw. What's up, Michi? Everyone say hi to Michi up in the chat. Listen, don't get in your feelings tonight, black women, because what I want to say to y'all, we get especially happy when we see a black woman getting elevated and promoted. And I can see why we get happy. But how many of us stop, relax, pull back, and start to think, what does this really mean for us? How many of us stop to think, pull back, relax, and say, how is this going to help us? Are we getting excited because we are emotional beings? And I'm not just saying women. I'm just saying, all together. Are we getting excited as emotional beings? Or Are we really thinking through this process? I say it all the time, family, not just women, men and women. We need to be critical in our thought process. We have to understand that everything that happens, everything that is put in front of us as a little carrot, as a little biscuit, as a little treat, everything that's put in front of us that comes with money behind it, we can't trust it. I'm just telling y'all, we can't trust it. I know that's going to be hard for some people to get down on. I don't know the lady. I don't know this nominee. But what I do know, there is a lot of money being put behind this woman. And I do know that money talks and bullshit walks. You know what I'm saying? I do know that. So when I was reading this article that I found on the Insider, it was talking about dark money. Dark money. And so I want to know in the audience, how many of y'all know about dark money? Do y'all know what dark money is? Do you know why that matters? And do you understand that without the dark money, without our own dark money, let me say that, without our own dark money, we will never get our agendas on the table. We will never get candidates that are truly going to help us in our plight. Now, some of y'all might ask me, well, Dr. Shonna, what's our plight? What's our plight? Right? I'm going to tell you what dark money is. Y'all, a lot of y'all saying no. So that's cool. And some of y'all do know, but I'm going to tell y'all what dark money is. But you got to start to ask yourself, what is our plight? What is our fight? So I'm going to ask y'all, community, put out there in the chat, what is our fight? What is our plight? And I'm bringing, when I start talking about this, y'all know I started to move away from conversations like this, because these kind of conversations, it gets me angry, and I don't like to be angry. I like to be positive. I don't like to be angry. And a lot of these conversations, I feel like, sometimes fall on deaf ears. We get all excited. We get all up in arms when people got stuff to say about blackness, and we be like, yeah, because they know how to rile us out. Some people do a great job getting us emotionally angry, but then what happens after that? What happens after all the anger? It just goes away and we stay the same, right? So like somebody said, reparations, right? So that's one of our agendas, right? What else are we going to? Reparation is definitely that. So you got to understand, if our full focus, if our overall focus is reparations, I'm using it as an example because it's reparation, and there's some other things underneath that as well. But if our main focus is reparations, you got to start to think critical when you see this money being pushed behind these candidates. You have to ask yourself, are the organizations that are pushing for these candidates, that are funding these candidates, do they have reparations in mind? Now, if the answer to that question is no, family, then y'all ought to not get excited when you see a black face being promoted, especially by the Democratic Party, but I'm talking about both parties, but especially by the Democratic Party. When we see a black face being promoted, we need not to get excited unless we have done our research and we're able to trace back that this candidate supports what we are fighting for. Okay, y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Let me explain to y'all first what dark money is. I said black money. See, Freudian slip. Let me explain to you guys what dark money is. Dark money are funds that are raised to influence elections, not just presidential elections or elections that's going to impact the government structure, that's going to impact laws that are being made, that's going to make those greater impacts on our society as a whole. So dark money is the money that they all put together, and then they do certain things to influence the outcome of elections, whether it is in advertisement, whether it is in events, speaking engagements. It doesn't matter whether it is to get them on a ballot. It doesn't matter. You need money, family, to do these kind of things. These are nonprofit organizations that are not required to disclose the identity of the people who is funding these campaigns and these elections. Don't you want to know who are the people behind the money? Now, both parties do this. This is bipartisan. Democratic people do it, and Republican people do it. They all have dark money, and they all influence the people they want into position. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, why are they so interested? Because there's a lot of dark money behind this woman. You can go ahead and look it up. It's a paper trail. It's all out there. Do your research. Go ahead and read the article in Insider. They do a great job highlighting all the dark money organizations that's feeding into this woman. So the question is, why are they putting so much money behind this woman? They're gearing up, family. They're giving up to start their advertisement propaganda via running ads on social media, television, radio. They're gearing up. They're gearing up and they're getting ready. Why? What is so interested in having this woman? Forget this woman. Forget her for a second. Because the agenda before it was this woman, I want y'all to know, because I know a lot of y'all family are not into politics, and I'm trying to make it very simple for you all to understand, because we got to be political. I know a lot of people think we don't got to be political. I'm not saying we have to join the current political forces, but when we're making our decisions and when we're organizing and when we're moving, when we're building our family, the people that we're marrying, all of that stuff is political. It may not be political on a bigger picture, but it needs to be political in how you are going to lead your family and generations to come. I know I'm speaking another language to some of y'all. I know I'm speaking another language to some of y'all. Not all of you, but some of y'all. But y'all got to really follow me. And you have to really understand that this is serious. If you're not sitting back, and if you're not asking yourself, why is there such a big agenda to have a black woman in this position? If you're not asking yourself that question, you're not thinking. And if you're not thinking, I don't want you guys to get offended now, because I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I do understand, and being authentic, people are going to get offended. If you are not asking yourself that question, why is there so much money pushing for a black female? Why? If you're not asking yourself that kind of question, you're not critical in your thoughts. You're not being critical in your thoughts. See, you got to understand that something is happening here. Something is happening. We are in the making of history. And you know, history is not history until it's done, and then we recognize what has happened, and then we call it history. Right? When you're in the thick of it, you don't really recognize what is happening. I want us as a family to get out of that mindset. We need to play chess every damn day of our lives. Everything we do, we need to see how it's going to impact the greater picture. The person you choose to have a child with, you need to see how it's going to impact the greater picture. The person you choose to marry, you need to see how it's going to impact the greater picture. The person you vote for, you need to see how it's going to impact the greater picture. There are special interest groups right now that is gearing up, putting up so much money behind this woman. Like, for example, Demand Justice. Do y'all know who Demand Justice is? No, because you're not paying attention to this kind of stuff. See, everybody calling me, and they like saying, "Hey, what do you think about this nominee? I mean, she's a sister. She got locks. Yeah, the girl got locks, right? She got sister locks, right? She's dope, right? AKA supposedly, because she got locks in her hair. We get excited about that kind of stuff. We get excited about that kind of stuff. Oh, she got locks. She a real sister. And then when you dig a little deeper and you look at some of her history, then you start saying, That's what I did. I dug a little deeper. And I sat back. And I said, what is this about? Her, Kamala, their political decisions on the families that they're building. What is this about? So Demand Justice is an organization that is centered on Supreme Court reform. That sounds great. That sounds great and dandy. And I know us as black people, because they have been playing on our emotions. And I'm not saying that it isn't true for the things that have happened and why we have to make sure our court systems are operating correctly. I agree with that 100%. But we start to get super excited about these kind of things. We like, yes, this is going to help us. But is it? Is it? So when I looked at this organization, Demand Justice, they're one of the dark money organizations that's putting a lot of money behind this woman, and the advertisement and all the campaigns or the propaganda is going to be pushed out there in order to get her in a position, is led by a man by Brian Fallon. Okay? And on Brian Fallon's little team, on his team that helps him run his operations, there's one black woman. Her name is Tamara Brummer, and her position is an advisor to the outreach department, right? So that's how they always use us. So I looked at that because that right there, when I look at a lot of these white organizations that are part of the dark money tribe, and they put money behind these things, especially putting money behind this new nomination, when I look at all these board members and I see the positions that they hold, the black women are not in high positions. They're always advisors. They're always in diversity committee positions. They're always in outreach positions. So I said, there's something to be said about this. Because we already know, if you want to get something done, if you want to influence some people, if you want to position some people so that you can strengthen the votes on the surface. Now, all this stuff is surface talk for right now. We're going to take it deeper. There's a surface talk. You got to have a black face. You got to have a black face. And it's even better when you have a black woman. So I'm not saying that this is going to happen with her. I'm saying this is how you have to be with your thoughts. You got to be suspicious of a lot of things. I need some of you guys are some trusting people, especially black women. Some of y'all some trusting mother freakers. Y'all are so trusting. Y'all don't ask enough questions for me. This party wanted to intentionally move Stephen or Stephen Breyer, however you pronounce his name, Stephen or Stephen, out and put a black woman in. They've been talking about this for a long time, getting this man out of that position and putting a black woman in. The question I have, but I don't have the answer to, is why? Why a black woman? I can make a lot of assumptions, but I'm still asking the question, why? On the surface, it looks good. On the surface, I see and I understand why black women get so excited about seeing another black woman in a chair, like they did with Kamala. I understand why they get so excited. We've been so oppressed for a long time. We've been kept out of positions for a long time. We have been disrespected for a long time. When they see somebody elevated, they are excited. But you got to ask yourself the question, why? Why that black woman? And then you have to ask yourself the question, what's the cost? What is this going to cost us? They're on the move. They're on the move. They're feeding social media already. They're already getting into your minds already. They're already promoting her picture. They're getting so excited about her. They're putting this stuff out there. They're having conversations about her, interviews about her. They're letting it go on social media. And social media, black social media, have gone crazy because they knew that was going to happen. Because that's what we do. We get so excited and we go all crazy. And we say, this is what we want. This is what we want. This is what we want. We get so excited about this stuff. And we don't ask enough questions. I know we fighting for certain things. We got an agenda, people. We fighting for certain things. We're excited about the possibility of us getting what is due to us for the last 400 years. We are super duper excited. But is this black woman going to get that for you? I know somebody will say, well, she ain't got nothing to do with that because she's on the Supreme Court. But I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why she does. Right? I'm going to tell you why she does. Right? You got to understand this. When you go to these donors, Demand Justice, another donor is building back together, that organization, and you visit their sites and you read the language on their sites. And if you analyze the messages that are written on their sites, then you look at their team. of who's in those positions, and then you research them and you see what their agenda is, their agenda don't align with ours. I know y'all heard me. Their agenda doesn't align with ours. So that right there tells you they don't have us in mind, but they will use us to influence votes in order for them to get what they want. And then once they get what they want, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Both sides do this. Republicans do it. Democrats do it. But the one thing I will say, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, but the one thing I would say is one party is secret the way they go about doing it, and the other one is damn right, outright, here, this is what we need. This is our agenda. This is what we're looking to do. This is our agenda. You always got to see if their agenda aligns with your agenda. So some people might say, well, I don't know what their agenda is. A lot of people in this community is going to say, I don't know what their agenda is. I don't understand it. This is all babble for me. I don't understand. It's so confusing. I'm not interested. Let me help you out. You don't need to outright read what their agenda is, because they're never going to really fully tell you what their agenda is. You have to look at what has been happening over the last 2 years, and you will tell me. I mean, I can go further than 2 years, but some of us got short attention spans, so I'm trying to keep it to 2 years. Over the last 2 years, what has been happening and what impact has it had on our community? Now, I know I'm speaking vague. Let me try to narrow this down a little bit. When I say what impact it's had on our community, you don't even have to think about the community at large. Why don't you think about yourself? Why don't you start with the children? You know how you can see the greatest impact first and foremost? You want to see how fast it happens? Look at the children, because it always affects the children first. So we're talking about the greater agenda of this party who is nominating this lady. Let's look at what the agenda has been by this party. Let's look at our children. What has been happening with our children directly? Let's look at their, yes, somebody said patterns of behaviors observed. Let's look at their patterns of behaviors. Remember, I told you family and how we go about relationships is political. Let's look at how our children are talking about relationships, how they're pursuing relationships, the language they're having about relationships. Now, let's talk about that for a second. That will tell you right there and foremost what the agenda is. What is one of the agendas? You understand what I'm trying to say? I need y'all to say it, because I can't say nothing. Y'all got to be able to say it on your own. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But y'all got to think about this. You also got to think about why they're pushing certain things on us despite us trying to be in control of making our own decisions over our bodies. Why are they pushing certain things on us? Why do certain things, and I'm not saying that y'all going to have to use your critical thinking skills. Why do certain things get greater protection than us? Why does that happen? So when you want to know what their agenda is, you just got to see what the language is right now. You got to see what all the hype is. You got to see all the strange things that have been happening over the last 2 years, over the last 10 years. You got to see how this stuff has been happening, and then you will know exactly what is their agenda. And then you have to start saying, when they start promoting certain people to positions of power that will affect it, you got to say these people have to support the agenda. Because if these people do not support the agenda, it will not make it through. They're not going to put somebody in a position that does not support their agenda. So I want y'all to start thinking. When it comes to your family unit, let's talk about the family unit. When it comes to your family unit, and I said family is political. When it comes to your family unit, what has been happening? Think about that. And is anyone talking about what has been happening to us besides us? Is any of their agendas situated to help us? So when you start getting excited about seeing a black woman's face, you got to sit back and you got to ask yourself, is she going to support our agenda, or is she going to support their agenda, which is hurting our families? Supreme Court. Somebody might say, well, you know what, Doc? Again, she's in a Supreme Court position. What does this have to do with us? If you understand the Supreme Court's role, you will see why this is significant. The role is that the Supreme Court is supposed to be the final voice of the law. Okay? They're supposed to be the final voice of the law. They're charged with making sure that equal justice is delivered under the law. Now I want y'all to go ahead and circle, underline, highlight, put an asterisk next to the word equal. Equal justice. Equal. That's the key word right there. Equal. And it sounds good. It sounds good and I'm all for it. But you got to really listen to what's happening. Equal justice under the law. They are, Supreme Court judges are the guardians and interpreters of the Constitution. Now that means they interpret the Constitution. They make decisions. They uphold decisions. They overturn decisions. They write opinions about decisions. There's so many things going on. They always report on growing populations of people. They always report on declining populations in certain people. Anything our people, not our people meaning our community, but we're talking about right here in this world. Anything that they focus on and they have conversations about, and the conversations make it to big platforms, you know something is cooking. The problem is, how many of you ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking y'all a serious question, how many of you ladies and gentlemen watch those kind of platforms when they're having discussions about different bills and laws that's going to be on the table, when they're having discussions about problems that they're seeing, when they're highlighting certain things? Are you really paying attention to the conversations that they're having? Now, I need y'all to read between the lines, right? I need y'all to read in between the lines. It's a lot of conversations that have been happening. But ain't no conversations happening that involve us. There's a lot of people that have been appointed to certain positions, but those people who have been appointed to certain positions don't help us. You got to understand this. They got to make sure everything that they do is backed, and they got to be able to clean up any arguments that we can have. We can't say they're being racist, right? You're being racist by overlooking our population, because they can turn around and say, well, look at the people we have given you, even though those people that have given you have done nothing to support your people. And they're not going to do anything to support your people. So stop getting excited, because you ain't putting no money behind them. Their money is coming from people that don't look like you. This matters. I know this is making a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's the truth. So when everyone said, Doc, you're going to speak about the new nomination, the reason why I wasn't really feeling it is because I already know how the game goes. The game has been consistent for decades, for centuries. It has been consistent. It ain't going to change until we change. Now, I know some of y'all went and started viewing her track record, right? Because, we know track record is the key. And why you may ask, well, her track record looks good. It looks good. But why does this matter to you? See, her track record primarily supports the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has been screwing y'all. I know a lot of y'all want to hear this. Y'all don't want to hear this because y'all some faithful Democrats. Y'all some faithful Democrats. Y'all don't care what the Democratic Party do to you. The Democratic Party can kill your children. They can turn them out. They can do a whole bunch of things. And y'all won't stop voting for them. Y'all won't turn around and say there's something sinister about this. Y'all would say, give it some time. Everything takes time. You got to give it some time. They're going to do right by us. They're going to do right by us. Her track record matters because everything she has done has been done to support the Democratic Party. And we already see how our relationship has been with the Democratic Party. And every time they give us somebody black has not done anything for us, for the most part. They give us little drops, little breadcrumbs. They breadcrumbing us, right? They give us little drops and we go with it. We think it's something. We think it's great. They don't give us nothing of substance. They don't give us anything just for us, but other people get things just for them, but not us. Not us. They tell us it can't be just about us. It can't be just about you. So if that's their mindset, that it cannot be just about you, you guys were excited about Kamala, and Kamala said she ain't gonna do nothing for black people. I can't do nothing just for black people. What do you think this sister's gonna do? She's not gonna make these decisions with your behind in mind. Nah, she's gonna remember who put her there. She's gonna remember who gave her the money, or who put the money up to make it possible for her to be there. You have to know their agenda. You got to pay attention to their agenda. Some things take years and decades to uncover, but if you follow all the little breadcrumbs they're giving us, you'll be able to put it all together. It will start to make sense to you. The money behind this woman is the reason why I am skeptical, and the money behind this woman is the reason why y'all should be skeptical. But y'all get so damn excited. I just don't get it. So maybe y'all can tell me why. Maybe y'all can tell me why y'all get so excited about these kind of things. Why do y'all throw your political thinking hat out the window and you get so emotional and excited? Like we keep talking about this constantly. We keep talking about this constantly, about putting your emotions aside and putting on your critical thinking hat and making better decisions and paying attention to how the power plays are coming down the pipeline. But for some reason, we don't do that. I'm skeptical. If you're not, that's cool, but tell me why you're not. When they start pushing money behind people that represent us because of melanin in our skin, but not putting money behind us, that's a problem for me. That's a problem for me. And that should be a problem for you too. I don't have any doubt that there is a secret agenda that is happening, and I don't have any doubt that there's a secret agenda with a malicious intent that's going on. Something is happening. Our world right now is in the worst condition that I have experienced, that affected me directly in my age, right? I know my mother has experienced things when I was a kid, but I didn't remember that stuff being a kid. But now that I'm an adult and I'm looking at inflation, we're looking at this war that's going on. We're looking at a lot of stuff. You got to stop to ask yourself, why? Why is this happening? I'm looking at the way they push this whole COVID situation. Why is this stuff happening? Capitalism is out of control. Socialism is out of control. And they have been giving corporations power over society in democratic institutions. Corporations are telling us what's best for our lives. You got somebody like Bill Gates can tell us what's best for our lives, but yet even in their conversation, they got to get it out to the black community. Something is happening. We got to get it out to the black community. Give them some chicken. Give them some money. Give them some concert tickets. Let them go see the ratchet people perform so that we can get them to do what we need them to do. We got to get it out to the black community. Why is the focus always on the black community? Those are the things that I've been asking. Why is the focus always on the black community, but nobody want to hear what the black community is asking for? It's sort of like when we say what we want, they ignore it, they censor it. They don't have the conversation about it. They shoot it down. They tell you everything that can't happen for the black community, but they want to tell us what we need, and what we need actually hurt. What they say we need actually hurts us. So now they got this black face. They put this black face up here. All the women are excited. Okay, not all black women, but too many are excited. They're making videos, like same thing they did with Chucks and Pearls. Same thing they did with Kamala. And nobody's asking the questions they need to know. We need to be a little bit more critical. When these kind of things happen, instead of us getting all excited about these kind of things, we need to be critical about these kind of things. We need to stop and we need to start asking questions. We need to shoot it down. We need to get upset about these kind of things. We need to start demanding answers about these kind of things, but we're not doing it. And anytime they need the black person to do something that they want us to do to further agenda, they give us a black woman or a black man to, well, usually a black woman, but sometimes they put a black man up there. They put a black man up there. It's going to be a black same-sex man because, you know, the black same-sex man, they got a lot of charisma and they got a lot of flair and they can move us to listen. And black same-sex men talk to black women. Right? And this is not a discriminatory thing, so don't come here with that bullshit, because people that personally know me know I don't entertain that whatsoever. It is not a discriminatory thing. It is a strategic chess move. They either put a black same-sex man in front of us, or they give us a black woman to lull us to sleep and just give them our votes. Give them our support. And are we asking questions? Why is that happening? When you click onto your social media and you see a black face advocating for stuff that you know goes against our agenda and what we need, why are you guys not pushing back against that? Why are we sharing these videos? Why are we putting hearts and saying hashtag black girl magic or yes, melanin power? Why are we doing things like this? Now, I don't know this lady personally. I don't know nothing about her life or her surgeon husband. I don't know nothing about it. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't trust it. I don't trust it because I see how the conversations have been going as it pertains to the black community. They don't talk about nobody else's community. When you think about politics, family, I'm about to get out of here. When you think about politics, they don't talk about nobody else's community. They don't say, you know, we have to really address what's happening in the Asian community. We have to really address what's happening in the Indian community. We have to really, they don't talk about nobody else's community. They talk about our community as though we are the worst things on earth, and they promote everybody else to help them out. Everybody else is talked about in a positive racial socialization way, and we're talking about in a negative way. And it's always somebody coming to save us. Save us from what? What are you saving us from? That's the question we should be asking. They always got somebody in front of us to talk to us, to get us like we the silliest people on earth. I don't know why the black community is skeptical. Oh, the history with medical and the black community, and this is why they're not doing it. So now we got to have advertisements for chicken to get them to go ahead and take this shot. Oh, you know, it's up there, it's great. You know, black women are the greatest in the things that they do, and they come out and they vote and they come in strong numbers, and this is what we need. We need to get in front of the black women. They always want to take something from us but don't want to give us what we want. And we get so excited. We get tricked year after year after year, and I'm not really understanding it. So when people was calling me and emailing me today and I didn't want to come and talk about this is the reason why. Because I'm not understanding why we get so excited about these kind of things. I don't know why we're not asking the right questions. So I know I'm going to have some of y'all in the audience, and y'all going to love these elections and these black women that's being promoted up there. Let me ask you, and I'm not being funny. Black women, please help me to understand the great impact that Kamala Harris has had on our community to position us for wealth, health, education. Just let me know what has happened. I don't want to talk about all the nice talk. I want to know the action plan. What has happened? What do you think is going to happen for our community when this Supreme Court judge nominee gets elected? Or if she gets elected, what is going to happen for our community? What what interpretation of the Constitution is going to happen that's going to help us out in reaching our agenda? What's going to happen, family? And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to be a better Betty or a negative Nancy. I'm really asking a question because maybe you all have an answer to something that I don't have that I can analyze differently. So if everyone is saying nothing, why are people so excited? Why are we so excited? And why this woman? Why this woman? Somebody would say, oh, because of her track record. She's not the only one that has a track record. Why this woman? See, these are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Somebody said, just like Obama, nothing, right? At the end of the day, we're constantly fighting for our agenda. But as long as we're not being political in our decisions, it's going to take us a longer time to get to where we need to be in terms of wealth building. If we keep on getting excited about people who do not have a track record of furthering the cause for the Black community specifically, if we do not get on board with finding these kind of people or getting excited for these kind of people, if they don't appoint these kind of people, it is not going to help us one iota. It is not going to help us one iota. So I don't want to put a damper on you guys loving this woman. The fact that she's Black. If that's the only thing that you guys have is that she's Black, then you are failing. You are failing. We got to get out of that mindset of getting so excited when they put Blackness out there. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have nothing else for you. I'm just so disappointed that we get so excited about these things. And we don't do the research. And in my private conversations that I was having on the phone earlier today, I was like, well, so-and-so is her track record, and so-and-so is, the lifestyle she's a part of. And her relationship choices it looks like this, and this is what it reflects that. So, how does that help us? Are you guys thinking about that kind of stuff? And you know what half these people said to me? I didn't know that. So why are you so excited? Why are you so excited? Oh, where you find that at? You sure? Okay, I'll send it to you right now. I didn't know that. So it's exhausting for me that this is a conversation that has been being promoted on social media. Is exhausted for me that we're constantly helping the larger machine actually work against us. It's exhausted for me. The people that we should be promoting to make sure we get everybody's mind right, the people we should be promoting that's on point with the agenda, everybody plays their own roles. Everybody has their own role for getting the agenda on point. What I mean by that is I focus on relationships. I focus on family dynamics. I focus on our mindset so we can be critical in our thought process and remember that everything we do needs to benefit our family unit, because our family unit is the key. And every time we are dismantled from power is because they have deconstructed our family units. So when I say all this stuff that I'm talking about, I'm always looking at it from that lens, but that's the position that I play in this fight for what we need as a community. That is my position. Everybody has their role and their position in which they play. But instead of people supporting what we're saying, instead of people forwarding or sharing what we're communicating, they want to sit there, they want to get offended. I don't agree with that. And because they don't agree with one thing, they won't share the video. But you don't know nothing about this woman. You don't know what she can do for you or what she can do against you. You don't know nothing about her, but you will share that picture 500,000 times. You don't read the article. You don't do any research. You just hit share because you're so excited about the color of her skin and you don't know if it's going to actually help you. You don't know if she's going to be supporting corporations that actually is going to keep you in an impoverished state. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about right there, right? Let me help you out there. Hold on a second. Shout out to Sid. What Sid says? Thank you for that, Sid. Sid says, give me a second, y'all. I'm going to come back to that. He says, women had the same excitement over Ruth Bader. Ginsburg did for women when in her final act as Scottish Justice, she, Kagan, and Sotomayor betrayed all women in the Bostock versus Clayton County, Georgia decision that took Title VII. But people don't know about that because that requires you to be political. That requires you to be political. Right? What he just said requires you to be political. Now, I already lost my train of thought. I was going to tell y'all something. Y'all can remind me what I was talking about. I want to be able to tell you something, but I will say this to you all. I forgot what the hell I was talking about. See what you did, Sid? But thank you for that. But nonetheless, you got to sit back and you got to look at what these people stand for, who their circles are, who they build relationships with. You got to sit back and you got to think about the main agenda and see how they're going to support the main agenda, what role they're going to play in the main agenda. You got to do that. Orange out. I don't know who you are, but orange out. You don't get to tell me how to run my show. You can't say to me, new topic, please. The only thing you have to do is log off and go somewhere else. It's just that simple. See, mental health is real. Mental health is real. People don't know how to just take somebody's show and take it. No, new topic, please. Go on to, there's a lot of channels out here that's giving you all the topics that you want to hear about. The only thing you have to do is log off and go to another channel. That's the only thing you have to do. And you are a prime example of what I'm talking about, because this kind of stuff is not interested in you, and that's why people like you get the community screwed all the time, if you're even a part of the community. That's why people like you don't share the information that needs to be shared so that we can get our mindsets on the right track. That's why people like you are toxic for our community. Here's what Earl is saying. Earl says she blocked a lawsuit filed by black people against Lockheed Martin for $22 million. Well, I haven't done my research in that area yet, but I'll look it up. And if she did do that, let's just say that's true. It supports exactly what I'm saying when I said that corporations are taking over. So everyone got to be in position to make sure that their bottom line, for the people in power, to make sure that their bottom line is being fed. Everybody is fighting for power, whether you are Republican, whether you are Democrat, and I'm not talking about those of us who vote. I'm talking about those of them that's in position of power, whether they are Republicans or they are Democrats. Their bottom line is power. Power. That's the only thing I need y'all to think about, community. Their bottom line is power. So who has been the heavy hitters over the last 2 years in power? Who has been making a lot of decisions on our lives? Who has been getting rich while we're getting poor? That's what I was going to say to y'all. That's what I was going to say to y'all, why this matters. Because these kind of people support those people, or they're in position to support those corporations and people that make decisions for your life. That make decisions for your life. So when I sit back and I think about how economics has happened in this country, when I sit back and I think about inflation in this country, that is a problem. But who is it most likely going to hurt the worst? Who is it going to hurt more than anybody else? This is how y'all need to be thinking. Who is it going to hurt more than anybody else? When you think about When you think about big pharma pushing certain drugs and trying to force you to take it to the point where you can lose your job if you don't take it. Your job is your livelihood. Who is it going to hurt? When you think about the fact that the CDC can turn around and change definitions for certain things. Once upon a time, there was a milestone. I'm going to talk about this in my next video. But once upon a time, there was a milestone that children had to reach with their speech, right? To make sure that they were developing on track. Do you guys all know, I'm going to talk about this, but do you guys all know that the CDC has moved that milestone criteria? So who makes it okay for the CDC to do things like that? Who makes it, that's right, Shantae, who makes it okay for the CDC to change the definition of what a vaccine is? From once upon a time how we knew what it was to where it is now. You gotta stop and you gotta start thinking about all the stuff that has been going on. It requires you guys to read. It requires you guys to listen to the boring stuff, so that you can see what's coming down the pipeline. And in order for them to do these kind of things, they're going to need people in positions that can back them. See this right here? See this right here? Get rid of this black family crap and wake the F up. You see this right there? Let me have a conversation with you, B-Dub, right? Let me have a conversation with you. When you say get rid of this black family crap, let's stop right there for just a moment, because we need to understand you, B-Dub. When you talk about getting rid of the black family crap, can you be a little bit more specific of what you're talking about, B-Dub? Can you tell me what you mean? I'll wait. I got time. I love when this kind of stuff comes out. I love when people say this stuff, because you know what? B-Dub is not the only person that thinks like this. He's just the one who said something. But there's a lot of people in our community that thinks like this. So B-Dub, can you please explain? Don't take too long, brother. Come on, I'm waiting for you. What do you mean when you say get rid of this black family crap? Just explain that right there. Tell me a little bit more about the black family crap you are talking about. Because every other community, everybody else in their community knows family is key. Keep the atomic family real. Can you speak in layman's terms? What the hell are you talking about? Keep the atomic family real. What does that mean, B-Dub? Can you, again, I'm talking to you, B-Dub. I need to better understand you before I shoot you down. I want you to really be able to defend what you are saying so we can have a critical conversation, B-Dub. What does that mean? Keep the atomic family real. No single moms, no divorce. So are you saying nuclear family? Are you referring to keep the nuclear family real? So when you say get rid of this black family crap, and you say no single moms, no divorce, I'm not following you logically. I can't decipher what you're talking about. Okay, so you're talking about keep the nuclear family real. So when you say get rid of it, B-Dub, that's exactly what I'm saying, that we have to get back to that. And it's being destroyed and broken down. So I'm not understanding what you're saying, B-Dub. We need to really have this conversation, because if our community is missing something, this is the reason why we don't find interest in the conversation, because we don't see how it's applicable. But it's very applicable. So instead of you speaking in elementary terms, we got to really have a critical conversation. Every other community gets it. Every other community understands that the family unit is key. Every other community gets it. Every other community gets it. Every other community tries to protect their family unit because they see that's where the power is. They understand that it's important to their lineage. Everybody else gets it. But we got to get rid of it. So maybe B-Dub didn't fully mean it that way, because he's saying the nuclear family, and maybe the way he communicated it came off as though it was adversary, and it really wasn't adversary, right? So maybe he just didn't communicate it clearly. But everybody else in their community gets it. So when I'm telling you all that this matters, you got to start thinking about your family unit. You got to start thinking about your children and your children's children. You got to start thinking that way. How is this going to impact your children? Our children emulate what they see. Our children are highly suggestible. Our children will go for what they are being fed and what they're being told. Okay? Our children will start to look at those models that are put in front of us. Our children will see how they live their life, and our children want to aspire to be like them. So if you have somebody that does not fully represent a black family unit, our children will want what they see based on what that person represents. Y'all got to understand what I'm saying. So all of this stuff matters. All of this stuff matters. None of this stuff should be taken lightly. So when you look at the powers that be that are selecting specific black women, specific black men to put out there, you got to understand that these are all symbolic. These are all symbolic, and it's meant to get into your subconscious mind. It is meant to get there. It's meant to program it. It's meant to dominate it so it can control your decisions going forward. You got to look at the commercials that have been out. That would tell you their agenda. You got to look at the music that has been put out. That would tell you their agenda. You got to look at the laws that are being changed. That will tell you their agenda. You got to look at who's being penalized for certain things and who's not being penalized. That would tell you their agenda. Okay, let me look at this person. I'm about to be going, y'all. It's over time. I'm at time. So Teresa says in St. Paul they have a black mayor, although Democratic. But what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, there's a lot of black mayors. So what exactly does that mean? What is this black mayor's agenda for St. Paul? How has this black mayor been helping to improve the conditions of black people in St. Paul? And that's what I mean when I say they just put something there. We get excited because it's black. And are we really unpacking it? Are we really advertising it? What does that mean? Because it's a black mayor, we're supposed to be excited about that? They gave y'all a black president, y'all was excited about that, and then y'all got angry and mad and felt like y'all was bamboozled. Nah, see, here we go. Here we go. We're not going to keep doing this, family. I'm going to address 2 or 3 other people, then I'm going to be going. If black women have no husband, they are controlled. Again, before I go ahead and say something to you, Dami, can you explain to me what you mean? We cannot make these statements. These statements are very divisive. These statements do not help us. They actually hurt us. And these statements can be seen as ignorant because you offer nothing else to it. So let me help you better explain yourself. What does that mean? What does that mean? Here's what this person is saying. This other person is saying, it's true what Dami is saying. What exactly is he saying? Before you say it's true, what exactly is he saying? What exactly is he saying? See, we get excited about these talks that actually are divisive. What is it saying? The government controls the black female population but not allowing men in the household. Okay, we're going to stop right there for a second. We're going to hold that right there because this is the mindset of a lot of people in our community. And I'm glad you are saying that, right? I understand where you're getting that from. I understand, especially when you want to talk about the 70s and how the welfare laws came into place and what happened with that. I understand that. I understand about mass incarceration and how that has supported it. I understand that. But our communities have been changing, right? Our communities have been changing, number one. And you have to understand that when you say that they're not allowing black men in a household, are you saying that the government can decide who we have relationships with? Are you saying that? Are you saying me as a highly educated black woman at a far different income level than an average American, not just average black person, an average American, you telling me that the government controls my household? That's what you're telling me? That's what you're telling me? What population of black women are you speaking to? Because we're all not the same. So what population of black women are you speaking to? So he's saying, yes, you are, so you're talking about me, I don't know. You are gullible politically. How am I gullible? Do you know anything about me to say I am politically gullible? You're making a lot of statements that is not supported by anything. Support it, baby. Show me how I'm politically gullible. In what way? My broadcast today, does it sound like I'm politically gullible? You see what I'm talking about, family? This is what I am talking about. No, Clarence Dami is not a troll. I recognize this name. Dami comes on this show all the time. He's not a troll. Or she's not a troll. Whatever Dami is, that person is not a troll. They support the channel. But you're making these kind of statements and you don't really get it. If I was politically gullible, why the hell is my channel on its last strike before they shut it down? If I was politically gullible. Somebody said he's challenging you, but he's failing. He's failing. See, let me tell you how you fell in, Dami. I'm going to help you out for a second so you can understand women like me, because apparently you don't understand women about me, but I'm about to tell you something about me. Because people who've been following me for a long time, they understand my philosophy when it comes to my family. So I'm going to tell you a little something about me. I play chess, not checkers. While you guys are letting your kids decide whether or not they go to college, my kids don't have an option. When you guys are letting your kids study the arts and they go to dance and they do all these other things as degrees, my kids don't have an option. My kids are STEM. I got an engineer student and I got a medical doctor student. My kids are STEM. You know why I do that? You know why I do that? Because I'm positioning my children for generational success. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you don't know nothing about me. I sit my children down and I teach them about politics. Before we even vote, everybody gets to decide who they vote on. But before they vote, we do our history. We do our research. We unpack it to the T. You don't know a damn thing about me. You don't know a damn thing about me. You saying that to say what? I'm strategic in everything that I do. Everything that I do. Even to the people I treat. In my practice, I am strategic. A divorced woman who has excellent relationship with my husband. Excellent. We are strategic on how we raise our son. The last one in the home, we are strategic. We don't fight. We don't have no pettiness. Ain't no holding no children against each other. Ain't none of that going on. Ain't no money arguments. Ain't none of that going on. Everything's a strategy. Everything is a strategy. Even when I date is a strategy. If you ain't on my level, it's a no-go for you. Everything I do is a strategy. So, Dami, you clearly don't know nothing about me. You clearly don't know nothing about a lot of black women, because there's a lot of black women like me. I am not unique. There's a lot of black women like me. Now, I'm special, but I just said unique, right? So you don't know nothing. You just making comments that was geared toward lower income, lower educated women in communities, where these researchers have went in and studied that community, and they put out stats, and they blanket the stats like it applied to all black people, and that's what those researchers do. And you fell for the okie doke because you are politically gullible. You fell for the okie doke. See, if you're going to read a research study, if you're going to understand a research study, take it from the researcher so I can help you out, so I can educate you on how to move. If you're going to read a research study, my brother or sister, whatever you are, if you're going to read it, you got to know who the target population is. You got to know who the sample population is. You got to know who they studying and where they getting their participants from. You got to understand what they're focusing on. You have to understand the agenda. You got to understand what they're trying to prove. And that's the problem. Y'all listen to people that give y'all very toxic stats, very toxic research that is geared toward hurting our community, that has been put out there by people who do not help our community, the researchers, and y'all run with it. And y'all spread that propaganda like weed. And then you start applying it to all black women. You start applying it to all black men. And you say this is the problem with our community. Because you take one little snippet of a research study that probably was funded by some jokers that's working against you. And y'all just run with it. And then we have division. And then we have breakdown in our community. Then we have all this nonsense that goes on in our community. Because we run it with one piece of information. And we make it applicable to all of us. And if we say nasty, divisive things like this, like what I have on the screen, we say nasty, divisive things like that, and we believe it to be true. And when someone tells you to back it up, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. Right? Quiet Storm said they blame everybody except their mama or their daddy. You know the beauty about being in my position? I'm going to tell you the beauty about being in my position. I'm a therapist to many people, many races, many sexualities. I see what you guys don't get the privilege of seeing. And the research you reading, I see what those researchers have not sat down and studied. I see it every day. And you know why that matters? Because I see people every day talk to me, and they would tell me how their fathers were in the home, but the only thing their fathers did was provide. The only thing their fathers did was provide. They were not emotionally available. They were not connected. They disrespected their mother. They did not know what their children's favorite colors were, what their children's best friends were. They didn't show up to anything. The only thing they did was provide for their family, but they were not engaged with their family. They were not active in their family. They did not teach their sons. Their sons don't know how to change tires. They don't know how to change oil. They don't know how to put up a picture. They don't know how to put up a curtain. They don't know how to do a damn thing because their fathers hasn't showed them anything. And much of the responsibility for the children fell on the mother, even though there was a father in the home. Do you know what that does to people? Do you know what that does to young boys growing up? Do you know that it doesn't actually help the family unit? Do you know that I have a lot of people that I work with who are melanated, and they come from a line of immigrants, and their family leaves them in their country for years, and they come to America and build, and that attachment hits them, and that attachment psychologically hurts them, and then finally when their mamas and their daddies call for them to bring them back into the country, there's no connection with their fathers, there's no connection with their mother, and then they get married and there's no connection with their wives or with their husbands. Do you understand that I see what you don't see? So we got to stop all this divisive talk. We got to stop all this nonsense. Because you're taking research that is meant to divide you and you believe that it's true. Right? Go ahead, Knight Rider. White folk on Section 8 too. So his illogical statement is pointless. You understand what I'm trying to say? You damn right, Sean. I did get triggered. And let me tell you where I got triggered. Because unless you understand what is happening in people's family units, unless you understand how the breakdown happens, unless you understand that, you won't be able to fathom that that research is used to hurt us. Because you don't really have an understanding of people's families. You have what the main society has told you is true about your people. You believe it and you run with it, but then you say, don't trust white people. But yet you're using their research to fund or to support your illogical and stupid statements. You're using their research to support your thought process. So who gave you that thought process? Who's giving you that mindset? You're not critical in your thoughts. You're not critical in your thoughts. You're emotional. And that person was emotional. We got to stop with all this nonsense. We got to stop with all this nonsense. Building a black family unit is not just about getting black men in the homes. It's not just about that. Because there are black men in the homes that's not active with their families. So what good is that? What good is that? It's about changing the mindset. So whether the black men are in the home or they're out of the home, the focus and the goal should always be the children. The future of the children. That should always be the goal and the focus. So when you get somebody like this nominee, as an example, and you get them up there, you got to be critical and analyze this person's life, their private life and their professional life. You got to analyze all of it because your children is going to watch all of that. And you have to sit your children down at the table and you have to have critical conversations with their children. And you got to be able to allow them to express themselves, and you got to be able to accept what they say but correct them when they're wrong. You got to do all of this because everybody else is becoming your children's role model but you. Everybody else is your children's role model but you. So every time they use a blackface to put on a television, to put on social media, to put on the radio, every time there's a black face or a black voice talking to you, you got to question it. And you got to do your research. And you got to sit your children down. You got to explain to them why this matters. See, because if it don't matter to you, you're going to assume it's not important, and you're not going to realize that it's conditioning the mindset of your children. When your child says, I want to be just like Kamala, your child ain't just talking about Kamala being a VP. When your child wants to be just like somebody, your child is going to emulate the things that that person do. The decisions that they make, the families that they build, the role and position they have, who they roll with, who they're friends with, who they're married to, who they sleep with. The children's going to analyze everything. I'm just saying. So I'm saying. Be critical in your thoughts. Sit your children down and have conversations with them. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't black women that aren't gullible, but there are black men who are gullible too. So we got to stop all this divisive nonsense. Oh, black women this, black women that, black women this. And a lot of you black men are something else too. A lot of you black men are something else too. But I ain't come on here to start talking about the difference between black men and black women. But what did y'all do? Y'all start attacking black women. Y'all start attacking black women. You talking about, oh, we got to stand up, we got to be in unity, but you are dissing us, you are breaking us down, you're saying hurtful things because your mind is being conditioned and controlled by people that hate black women, that look just like you, that use somebody else's research about the black family unit to condition your mind to hurt you, and you perpetuate it. So that's why sometimes I don't come on. That's why sometimes I don't have nothing to say, because it's kind of tiring fighting through this bullshit. It's tiring. It's annoying. Right? It's annoying because we're trying to think critical and we want to be divisive. Oh, you black women this, you black women that. The fuck are you doing? I'm out of here. Listen. The point of it all is I'm going to need y'all to stop getting excited about symbolisms. I'm going to need y'all to stop getting excited every time you see a black person being paraded by the Democratic Party or the Republican Party about, these little positions that they're having. I'm going to need y'all to stop being excited and then do your research. Right? I'm going to need y'all to stop being excited and do your research and understand the agenda of who's being promoted in front of us, who's paying for them to be in front of us, whose money is backing their existence or their rise to power, whose money is doing it. What do they represent when it comes to the family unit? What do their children represent? What do they represent when it comes to the family unit? We got to look at all of that. What is their position and their stance on our agenda and what we need as black people? We got to look at all of that. That's all I'm saying. That's the purpose of everything. What's somebody saying? Let me see this. No one attacking black women get to the root. It shouldn't be tiring. Hey, when females take the payoff to shit on black men to please whitey, it becomes an issue. Okay. I love y'all. I really do. I love Dami. Dami comes in all the time. I ain't got nothing for Dami, but we don't always have to agree, and we're gonna have to be able to take some of the pushback. D Bub, D Dub, D Left Eye. I forgot D's name. I love D too, whoever D is. I love D too, but you know something? Listen, if we gotta push back, I'm gonna push back. Right? I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna push back. I love every last one of my sisters and my brothers. I love every last one of y'all. You understand what I'm trying to say? But we got to stop with the nonsense. We got to stop with the non-critical thinking. We got to stop assuming that this is a black woman versus a black man thing. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. You got to put that on the back burner, family. No other community do that. No other community disrespects their women like we do. No other community disrespect their black men like their men like we do. They're not out there having these long debates all the time about us, like their issues and their problems. They're not having conversations about their issues and their problems. We are. So we're showing the world how gullible we all are. We're showing the world how weak we all are, and that's why everybody's always talking about what the black community needs. Everybody's always talking about what the black community needs, but nobody's listening to the black community when they tell you what they need. because we're too busy fighting. We're too busy blinded that we're not paying attention to the shit that's happening because we're too busy at each other's throat and everyone sees it. And when you have that, that is a weak link. And when there's a weak link, you can go ahead and divide and conquer. And that's exactly what has been happening. I'm out of here, y'all. I love y'all. Have a great night, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.